there into fixing things and being innovative and solving problems and working with people is in fact wasted on something which produces no benefit at all. And I think that as the regulators get more and more serious about the fact that the community wants one thing, and that is to have its environment protected, and that we simply can't sit back and allow energy to be dissipated on things that don't contribute to that. So that's why I'm pushing for it. The lessons for me were a couple of them. Number one, I think as I touched on earlier, it's really important that you inevitably everyone is committed to their own regime. And that's partly because we think that they're good, but more because we're admiring the problems of changing them and all the vested interests that hang off them. Yep. The only way that you can resolve those issues is the battle for results, as I said. You've got to be really clear on, okay, which regime or which part produces the best environmental outcomes, how does the regulatory platform contribute to that? If it does, we'll have that. That's the one that we'll take. The second thing which I found really important, and which is, I suppose, one of the underlying foundations of our transformation here, is that you're asking a lot of businesses, in a sense they all they all ask you to have one regime, but you're asking a lot of them to make change. And so in order to make that request of them, I found that they need to have some ownership, if you like, or at least some support for the regime that you're moving to. So in Victoria, for example, again, I honestly don't know enough about how the other functions in the other states work, but it's logical that we'll make some. We're going to make the most of what we've got here, and we're going to go flat out to earn the support of the businesses that we regulate for the regime that we've got and the way that we do it, so that when it comes to that debate about which one we pick, they'll be out there saying, we want this one.
Yep.
So you've just got to go hard. There's this great sort of myth that goes on out there that businesses actually don't want regulatory regimes and don't want to see laws enforced. That is just garbage, or if at best it is the utterances of very ordinary businesses who are in the vast minority out there. The good organisations out there understand that a robust, transparent, predictable regulatory regime, one that puts up front helping them to comply but holds people to account, is the way in which a high-quality organisation can do good work and turn a good margin. And you've got to be very conscious out there that we are out there doing our work in a way because we need your support for when these big debates occur.
Yep. Okay. Now I'm going to switch to some questions here. The first one from Jacqueline Pitt: what do you see as the benefits of direct regulation of greenhouse gas emissions over indirect market-style or incentive-based mechanisms?
Oh, look, it's a really good question. I actually don't see any benefit of direct regulation over market style. I believe that the fastest reforms will occur through a market-based mechanism. The role of the regulatory regime is, in my view, simply to say that we're going to fix this one way or the other. And we either use the best mechanism to do it, and we all pitch in and make that work, or we have to use the less effective instrument. But the government in Victoria has made it clear we are going to achieve a 20% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2020. One way or the other. And I think that's the benefit. I think it's a way of saying, look, we are serious here. This is not going away. We've set a goal. We're going to achieve it. We want to achieve it in the most efficient way, but if we can't do that, we're still going to achieve it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, on a related issue, Louisa Perrin asks, how will the greenhouse gas regulation interact with whatever emissions trading scheme or carbon tax is established by the federal government?
Look, I think it's a good question. Our expectation is that obviously the best way forward for Victoria is for the nation to move forward, and the proposals that have been put forward here are put forward in the absence of a national scheme. but fully contemplate that if and when the issues are resolved nationally, that we would come in under those programs.
Okay. All right. And our next question is from Simon McMahon, and he's got an acronym in here that I'm hoping you will understand with your OHS background, but he's saying, given the new EPA goals of being transparent, accountable, etc., this seems a lot like CATE plus C.
Oh, yes.
I'm hoping that makes sense to you. Given the success of the WorkSafe operating model,
It does make sense.
Given the success of the WorkSafe operating model, the template for the EPA, especially, is this a template for the EPA, especially as many OHS professionals are also involved in their organisation's environmental aspects?
Yeah, I mean, g'day, Simon. I think that that model that was used before is a generic regulatory regime model. It reflects a lot of the work of people like Malcolm Sparrow out of Harvard and others who have sort of coined CATE about being constructive, accountable, transparent, and effective. That's where it comes from, and those are derivatives of his work about how modern regulators go about their work. And Simon's right. It was a very, very useful way of building confidence in that OHS fraternity, in that health and safety regulator, confidence that wasn't there, and it did help build it. And with that came a lot of influence and some sensational results. So certainly we're an organisation that needs to earn some confidence in us so that we can use these great talents that we've got to get some good results as well.
Yeah. Okay. Next question is from Amelia Reid, who's, and I'm not sure if you mentioned these dates earlier, but she asks, when will the consultative process on the regulatory framework end, and when will the regulations then come into effect?
Look, I haven't got, no, it's a good question. I haven't, is that all right?
Yep.
I haven't got those dates. I think our expectation, Amelia, is that this work will take up a lot of next year. It is going to be quite exhaustive in terms of both the normal reg making process, but also the additional consultation that's required. So I think the government has committed to the release of a second white paper around the implementation of its measures. That will be any day. It might even be 2 days, but that'll be any day, and that'll have some guidance around that time frame.
All right. Look, thanks very much, John. I think that's all we've got time for. Yeah, look, thanks very much to you, and thanks for everyone for attending, and hope to catch up with you all at our next webinar. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Merritt. Thanks, everyone. Bye.